Hello, folks. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and the election is coming up soon. I guess it's another 2 months. And so I'd like to talk about my prediction of who will win. What are the chances of Trump versus Harris? So without further ado, the mainstream opinion, the conventional opinion right now is that Harris is slightly favored to win. National polls show her slightly ahead. If you go to the swing states, you see that she picked up a lot, the Democratic Party, I should say, picked up a lot of steam in the last month or two since Harris has replaced Biden as the nominee for the presidency in the Democratic Party. Now, personally, I am still biased in favor of a Trump win, and I'm going to tell you in this monologue why. So, in a nutshell, the reason why I still believe that Trump is favored to win, I should say, is that one, I still don't think that polls are accurate. The same issue we had in 2016, when the majority opinion, the overwhelming opinion among the Kanyashenti, among the experts, was that it's a slam dunk for Hillary Clinton. And they were wrong, it turns out. And the reason they were wrong, as we now know, is that they were hidden trumpeteers, as I like to call them, trumpeteers. People who favored Trump, they were going to vote for him, but they wouldn't tell the pollsters as much. And so the polls did not capture those people for whatever reason. I don't want to go into it. It's not the scope of this conversation right now. But there were people out there who intended to vote for Trump, and it was not reflected in the polls. Bottom line is the polls are just inaccurate and unreliable. So I just don't trust the polls much. So let's move on to number two. Let's just look at the general milieu and the general sensibility within the populace, within the electorate, and see whom are they leaning towards. Okay. Now, there is no question that Harris is more likely to win against Trump than Biden would have been had he stayed the nominee. There's no question the Democratic Party made a very good move by dumping Biden and going with Harris. So before I'm going to tell you why I still think she's going to lose, I'm going to tell you why she's so much better than Biden. Obviously, number one, obviously she's not a mental decline. It was just so obvious for any neutral person all along, but the Democratic Party elite was hiding it, but eventually they couldn't hide it no more. So people want a president that knows what's going on, right? They can, they can keep their train of thought together for 2 minutes, right? So Harris has that going. Number two, she's young, and she has the right profile. She is colored, whatever that means, black. I don't know. Some people call her black, whatever. But that's a plus. Okay. Certainly, on the Democratic side, that's a plus, and you could argue within independents, it's a plus. But also, she's a woman. Okay, and she's young, and in general, she has a certain charm about her, like, her cackle. Okay, people mock her for it, but she carries herself well. There's no issue with that. Now, policy-wise, she's a disaster because she's flip-flopped. She has no consistency on anything, and she's on the wrong side of all the issues, even within mainstream America, right? But I don't want to go into that. That's not relevant right now. But the point is that in terms of a profile, okay, it's a plus. Think about, for example, the woman demographics. There's definitely more women who will vote for her than for Biden. Okay, there's no question about that. There's also more people within the progressive movement in general who will be motivated to show up for the polls to vote for her than they would have been motivated to show up and vote for Biden. Okay, having said that, I'm going to tell you why I still think that Trump has a very good chance of winning, if not being the actual favorite. And the reason for that is that what I call independents, okay, people who are on the fence, people are in the middle. There aren't very many of these people, by the way. And I think the independents are overrated because for a very simple reason. How uninformed / impartial can you possibly be? I mean, the presidential election and national politics is just so prominent within people's minds. Everyone knows about the issues that are at stake. Okay? Everyone knows the general ideology of the parties. And so how can you not have an opinion on this? I mean, there aren't that many people who are willing to flip-flop, on these things on every single election, right? But nevertheless, there are some people like this. There are some people who are, independence is kind of like a cliche, it's an overused term, but there are people in the middle who are persuadable, so to speak, right? Now, among this populace, I think Trump is a favorite. And I'm going to tell you why. I have, let's dispense with theoretical. Let's go with empirical. Let's go with what's a fact, okay? Here's the thing. There's three categories of people who are now favoring Trump over the Democratic Party. One is Elon Musk. Elon Musk, in 2016, he was a Democrat / leaning Democrat. He was certainly not a Republican, not a Trumpist, anything of that sort. He has a lot of followers. There's a lot of people who are influenced by them. But more importantly, his mindset, the person like him, namely a person who is in tech, a leader in technology, who has experimented and has been very happy in California and with liberal / progressive policies for a while, and now he has soured on that. He doesn't want that anymore. He has left California, he has left liberal politics, he's realizing, for all sorts of reasons, which we need not go into right now, that that's not the future of the country, that's not what's best for us, and that's not what he's going to support and endorse. And he has come out openly and emphatically in favor of Trump now. So, and again, so it's not just him personally, it's also a certain demographic that he represents. And there's no question that there's thousands, if not tens / hundreds of thousands of people who are influenced by him and or represented by his type of thinking. So that's one. Secondly, Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, again, you have here a person who is nominally in the Democratic Party. Well, I shouldn't say nominally. She was, in fact, she was running on the Democratic side. She endorsed Biden for president after, he was a nominee. And she generally stands for, socially, I believe she's liberal. Okay, so she stands for democratic principles, and yet she recognizes that for example, one of the major reasons why she supports Trump versus Harris is because of foreign entanglement. She doesn't want America having an interventionist / aggressive foreign policy and fighting abroad for needless wars, and Trump is better on that, decidedly so. And so that's one of the reasons. But again, the details are not important right now. All I'm saying is that there is a demographic. She represents a certain demographic. There's a certain profile that she represents. There are people like that. There are people who are socially liberal, but they don't want America fighting foreign wars. And she's a spokesperson for that. So again, there are thousands of people like that who would have been inclined to vote Democrat if not for this. So she's number two. Number three is RFK Jr. He has come out in favor of Trump. I think the media has essentially ignored this. They've been silent about it as though this doesn't really matter, as though it's not news, but I think it's very big news. Okay, he was not, this couldn't have been foreseen. This couldn't have been predicted. Hello, Zaki. Say hello.
Hello.
And it need not have happened if the Democratic Party had played the cards differently, but they didn't. And so again, it's not just one person, it's a certain profile. There are people who support him, there are people who are influenced by his opinion, and the fact that he has soured on the Democratic side means that they too have soured. And so we have combined in the collective, and there might be more, by the way, but considering those three categories and perhaps others, there's got to be tens of thousands, maybe 100,000. 100,000 matters. We know this from the previous election cycle, okay? That's all that Biden won by is a few tens of thousands here and there. Wisconsin and whatever, Pennsylvania, whatever other swing states he needed, Georgia, he won only by 50, 60,000 in those states. So if you have 200,000, 300,000, even less, in the right proportions in the right states, then that's it. Trump wins due to this demographic. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful weekend. Zaki, say thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Say I love my daddy.
I love my
And I'm gonna enjoy the weekend.
I'm gonna enjoy
Wow, what did you do? Okay. Say bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Everyone wave to the camera.